I can't lie, last time out was very disappointing. Our first triple header of the series and we lost all 3 games in terrible circumstances, and I was left with a massive task in January of trying to rebuild the squad and rebuild morale. We're now in March, so a little bit further on than where I wanted to kind of come back, but I will explain all why in a second. It's been one hell of a window. Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of FM22 Non-League to Champions League. Billericay Town in the Premier League. Where are we? 14th, I tell you, and 31 points. 31, which means we are 9 away from the golden total of 40, which normally would secure safety, and it should be enough this year. In terms of the relegation battle, we're also 9 points ahead of West Brom, who currently occupy 18th position. It's been quite the run, especially since the last time we met, we were literally in the doldrums. Things could not have got much worse. We lost, I think, 5 on the bounce. But January came along, and I think it's hard to argue against this being the most effective transfer window I've had. And to be able to do it in January is unreal. So let's see what happened. I'm not going to try and sit here and talk you through it in terms of chronological. But one thing you do need to know is that we sold 2 big names. The first big name that I sold was Victor Colazo. He has gone off to Pumas back in Mexico. Sold him for £9.5 million or 9.25 million. He's much more suited to there. He's a small defender, and without being rude, he's very good going forward, not very good at the back. Kept getting beat at back post headers. Not his fault, that's just how high he is. To be fair, to bring him on for a free and then sell him on for £9.5 million or so, I think is a brilliant bit of business. So Victor Colazo went, and this one you can look at as a failure or as a bit of ingenious money grabbing. He didn't last long, did Fabio Silva. I have now sold him to Olympiacos, where he's got 5 goals in 4 games. So obviously we bought him in for £8.5 million at the start of the season. I've sold him on for 11.25 to Olympiacos. He wasn't really getting in ahead of Fernando Luis, and he wasn't really offering me a valuable contribution in terms of off the bench. You can tell there 2 goals and 15 appearances, no assists, nothing. A 6.69, it ain't good enough for a guy that I spent a lot of our budget on. Nearly a third of the budget I spent on him. It wasn't really good enough, and I thought, you know what? Rather than wait until the summer where his stock might go down, let's just get it mid-season, try and recoup some of the money, and invest it more wisely in other areas, which fortunately we have done. By other areas, I mean the defence. Because last time that you saw us, our defence was awful. We conceded 10 goals in 1 episode. So who have I brought in to stop the rot? I actually start with this chap, Mikero Fantini, who I've brought in on loan from Fiorentina. I'm paying around about, I've paid about 500k overall. For the actual loan for him for the year. Apparently the fans aren't too happy with it. He's actually been very good since he came in, playing at 6.82. He's got 2 assists within those 6 appearances. He's pretty well rounded all over. He's a very cultured midfielder, and he has brought a bit of solidity to that defensive midfield position that we were possibly lacking with Bigger Shabani, dare I say it. Fantini's been really, really good. The other loan that I brought in is that of Nick Cooper, and I think Nick Cooper could arguably be signing of the season as it stands. He's played 8 games for us so far. He's playing at a 7.04, so he's playing very well. He's a defender. I am actually getting him in permanently. I took the gamble because Saints wouldn't do it if I didn't pay them up front for, or say that we were going to buy him. So I'm paying £9.5 to £10 million for him. I think it's well worthwhile. You look at his physically, if anything, it's worth it. He's quick. He's big at 6'4". He's strong, his jumping reach is 17. While his heading is only 12, the jumping reach kind of compensates for that. He's only 23 years old, he has been capped at England under 21 level. His determination's high, leadership is 16 as well. It's something I've definitely needed at the back. And not being funny, he has really, really stepped up. And is definitely an upgrade on Okoro in that defence, as much as I hate to say it. I've also added a little bit of midfield, and I think this might be one of the bargains of the window. Alvaro Munoz, who I bought in from Roma. Just look at him. I mean, athletically, he's pretty good as well. Mentally is where he excels. 16 determination, 18 flair, 15 off the ball, very good. And technically, 16 technique, 14 long shots. He's very good. He's more of an attacking midfielder, which I think suits us. Because obviously, I've got a lot of decent players that can play in that defensive midfield or the box-to-box role. But maybe not as many that can play in that Joe Powell, Juric role, where I like my other midfield too, to get forward, play them on attack, get them into the box and get them to score goals. That is pretty much where a lot of our kind of good play comes from. I've already a 24-year-old Colombian. He should fit that bill. Bought him for 525k, which I think is an absolute steal. This is the last signing I made of the window, but I have got one more because I think the next one's going to be an absolute superstar. But Ben Walbers, I've signed from Valencia, or Valencia B if you like, for £5.5 million. I get this. He's another centre-back. It's now him and Cooper at the back. He's 6'6", and Cooper's 6'4". So we've got two absolutely gigantic centre-backs. And hopefully, I mean, the amount of headed goals we've conceded has stopped, it's safe to say, and I think that's in no small part down to these two. His jumping reach is even higher. He's at 19. Physically incredible, mentally excellent. Not quite got the leadership, which is good because it means Cooper can be the leading centre-back. Walbers can learn off of him. He's 24 years old. He's Dutch, not been capped for the national team yet, but was capped 30 times at under 21 level, which I think is something I'm beginning to look at a little bit more now. If they have that sort of international quality, that's something that I think we can try and get into the squad, especially obviously with the younger one that we do. Looking at the under 21 caps is a really good way of me going, right, okay, he is good enough, especially with 30 of them. Shows you he's got the quality. Technically, probably not the best in the world. There's a lot of arrows going down. I'm going to maybe reboot the sort of staffing over the summer and hopefully get that up to a more sustainable level. I think, if anything, it's more to do with the facilities now than it is how good my staff are. But that's a different conversation. Ben Walbers and Cooper have changed the dynamic of Billericay Town, and it's been brilliant. But this man is... he's pretty good. Ismet Mehic. I think that's how you say it. German, under 21, again, capped 30 times at under 21 level for Germany. 10 German, under 21 goals. He is... yes. Just look at him. Physically, he's lightning. 16 acceleration, 17 pace, 19 agility. Brilliant. He's physically incredible. Even the strength at 10. For a guy who's 5'10" and is that quick, is pretty decent. He reminds me a lot of like a Mane or a Salah, but obviously nowhere near that good at the moment. But he does remind me of that sort of blisteringly quick. His flair at 12 could use a bit of work. 16 off the ball though. He makes great runs in behind it. And he has already scored 2 goals in 5 appearances and racked up 3 assists. Technically, again, pretty decent in some areas. Could use a little bit of work. These are things that can be improved. It's difficult to improve on the physical stats, which is why I tend to look at us being a very physical team to start with. And as the team grows, I will get in more technically proficient players. I'm using big words today. That's how excited I am. So since the last time we met, which was the disappointing triple header, there's a bit more green, as you can tell. We did end up losing 6 games on the trot. We lost Newcastle in the game after Brighton. You thought, right, this is going to be bad. But then, new signings come in. We turn it around. We beat Leeds 4-1. Beat Peterborough in the FA Cup, which we're still in at the moment. Beat Wolves. That was a massive game because Wolves are down in 19th at the moment. Really, really struggling. A credible 1-1 draw with Spurs at home was good. Losing to Brighton away, again, not brilliant. Lost them 2-1. Lost to Everton. 2 teams I've not been able to beat this year, which is a bit disappointing. Both games very, very close. Beat Leyton Orient in the 4th round of the FA Cup. And recently, more importantly, the games we were originally going to come back for, Bournemouth and Palace. I thought, you know what, we've seen both of them. And yes, we have seen Watford. But I do feel that this, again, is another game that is vitally important. And I didn't want to go too long before we kind of came back. Otherwise, we'd be in sort of April time or so, which doesn't really suit the, it's not a good idea. That's a brilliant commentary there, by the way. You can tell I do this all live. So, like I said then, it's Watford today. We're currently 14th. They are in 13th. We back up another win. 34 points. Puts us 6 points away from 40th. I doubt we're going to finish any higher than 11th. The goal now has got to be finishing above Spurs, because they're on the same amount of points as we are. But thanks to our very, very poor start to the season in terms of goals conceded, our goal difference is not brilliant. Although it's better than everyone else below us. I don't want to get dragged back into the relegation battle. At the moment, we're keeping a nice, safe distance from it, which is exactly what I am looking for. And you can tell now the squad's in a much better place. Baron McDonald's the only unhappy player. There are teams that want to get him on loan. I want to sell him, and I will do during the summer. It's just not worked out. It was a sentimental signing. We all knew that. So this is how the team's lining up now. And as you can tell, we're in a much sort of better place. There's a few more green arrows or green lines. By that I mean between Powell and Juric, which is good that they finally got themselves together. And you can tell by their form, it's been a bit more improved. Nolan's in goal then. Edmonds is still at left back. He's been pretty decent. It's good now because if we need to get a left back in, Ben Jean-Baptiste kind of makes the step in and he can fill in that role. Wolbers and Cooper are the back two, which I think is a little bit harsh on Raymond John, who had a very, very good season up to this point until he got injured. He's actually performed pretty well. You can tell there. He's played at 6.99 in the league. Okoro, on the other hand, awful. But Raymond John, bit going for him. At the same time, though, it's good because it means I've got 3 decent centre-backs that can step in and rotate, which is nice. Phillips is up right back. He's been superb this season. No getting away from that. Fantini's in the ball-winning midfield role, so Big Shabani has dropped to the bench for the time being. Powell and Juric are in the middle. Those two have been very good in recent weeks. Mehic is on the left. He's been... Mwah. Lamb is on the right. Again, probably one of the few signings I've made that's been really good. And Fernando Luis has got himself up and rolling. 16 goals so far this season. Without him, I don't even want to think about where we would be. So last time we played Watford, we lost 2-0, and we were the better team, arguably overall, and they got a dodgy penalty and a bit of a snatch and grab. But we're very much a Brentford-like team in this division. We play really good football. We do tend to sort of be very on the front foot, create a lot of chances, maybe not finish as many as we should, and that's probably the reason why we were struggling in the early part. But fortunately now we've got some of the more attacking players into a bit of form and have solidified at the back with the 2 centre-backs. It is making it a little bit easier for us just to kind of grind out games, which is something that we have done, so they're not becoming basketball affairs. One problem I have got is that Fernando Luis has already sort of said that he doesn't want to come back next year, or Arsenal don't want to give him back to me next year, which is worrying. As Fernando Luis gets in on goal and misses it, I mean, you're not welcome back, mate. It's a terrible finish. Please come back. I love you. Don't leave me. A pretty lively start to the game then. It's like I said, we're playing really well as a front pairing. As Fernando Luis, he's so good in the air. Joe Powell whips it in. Fernando Luis was scoring more from corners this season. And Fernando Luis gets yet another headed goal to add to his ever-growing collection. There's 2 of them at the back post and they still can't stop him. It's an unbelievable header. He's an unbelievable footballer. Please, Arsenal, let me have him. If I get a budget of around about 35 million pounds or so, is he worth me splashing all of it on? Let me know what you think in the comments section. That Nolan. I mean, I said about how good Fabio is, and he is very good, but that from Nolan is not very good at all. He's come for a cross. He's got nowhere near it. That's just awful. And Wolbers, I mean, he's not got the anticipation to get up and head that. I don't blame him for that. How is that Wolbers' mistake? He's playing it at 6.3 and Nolan's playing it at 7. How, Football Manager, how in any way is that Wolbers' mistake? Gazano into Berg. I mean, it's a good, exciting game, which is a nice sort of start. That's a great ball in. Ismail Assar's just missed, and Cooper, I mean, Nolan's literally all over the gaff at the moment. He's here, there, and everywhere. Oh, Power whips it in. Wolbers, there you go. He makes up for it. Ben Wolbers, that's a brilliant finish. Well done, lad. We're set-piece specialists. We are the Stoke of the Premier League. Brilliant ball in. He's completely unmarked. It's awful from Watford. Like, it's an awful bit of defending. They're nowhere near him. And he's just got a free header into the back of the corner. Back of the net. Brilliant finish. 2-1 up. Wonderful. Joe Powell with 2 assists as well. I was criticising him last game, saying that Joe Powell couldn't play at this level. Since then, he's been brilliant, to be fair. So, good reverse psychology from me. Juric into Powell. Fernando Luis. Tease it. Mehic. Oh! I've become very used to watching him just place that into the far corner. That's a big chance missed before the second half. Okay, so we created loads of the scoreboard reflects that. I'm very happy, and I am. It will just be the one game today because obviously I have gone through the transfers and everything, so I've spent a little bit of time doing that, more than I would probably like, but we all love a transfer. Yeah, we all love a transfer window and a transfer roundup, don't we? Best January ever. That's probably going to be the title of the video. January has saved me. And for the first time ever this season, I am not as worried about the relegation battle. I do feel now that we have more than enough, and we've given ourselves almost enough points, especially if we win here today, that we've almost given ourselves enough points just to keep our heads above water and not need to worry about what's going on below. You can tell here, West Brom are losing again here today, which means that we're going to be 12 points clear. I would be amazed if someone could catch up with us between now and then. It's very important, though, that we just see this game out. Part of me wants to take off some of the players, but we're playing with such a bit of style and verve. I don't really want to disrupt the team. Let's just see if we can get a third goal, then I might make some changes. I don't like the way we're playing here. It's pissing about. Ismail Assar hits it. Nolan makes up for it after a terrible clearance. What are you doing, son? Well, 3 minutes of added-on time. We're ticking away. It's been a much quieter second half, which is no issue to me, because it's another win for the Billericay. Mwah! Absolutely magic. One mistake from Nolan cost us a clean sheet. Don't really mind about that too much. Get in. That's 34 points. 34 points. We're going to be out miles away from the relegation zone come the end of the season. Obviously, we've got a really hard run of fixtures coming up, and this is probably where we're going to go into another sort of six defeats in a row sort of run. But you look at it here, that's 4 wins in a row, 3 in the Premier League, which is lovely. But then we've got Arsenal away, who are absolutely flying at the top of the table. Look, they're 71 points. They're miles ahead of anybody. Southampton are still in second. And then it gets a little... Well, no, because then we've got Leicester, Southampton, United. I can't see us winning again until the next time that we come back, which will be... Actually, let's do... Go on, let's play a big team then. I say big team, it's Man United. Let's play Manchester United and West Brom in the next episode. So by then, we probably won't have got any more points, I would hazard a guess. But we don't know. And then, yeah, let's come back. Let's see if we can get maybe our first scalp of the series properly with United and West Brom. And then, obviously, we can finish off against Chelsea on the final day of the season. What do you reckon of the January? How do you think we've done? We're now up to... Oh, my God, we're up to 12 because Spurs dropped points. We're ahead of Spurs. What do you reckon? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Has it been the best January that you can think of? Who's your favourite signing that I've made out of all of them here? And more importantly, do you reckon we are going to stay up now? I think we're nearly home and hosed. We're 12 points ahead of West Brom. I can't see them winning 4 games, let alone us not picking up another point between now and the end of the season. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like on it, share, subscribe, and until I see you again, take care of yourselves, everybody, and stay cool. Bye!